Okay, so this is my positional roll with Dawson. I'm going to break it down a little bit. 3, 2, 1, go. So first things first, he frames on my face at the very beginning, and then I steal his grip to pull him forward. So let's have a look at that. The reason why he frames on my head is because he doesn't want me to scoot in and get shin to shin. So he's denying me the lower body by framing on me with his upper body. He's trying to keep his legs away, and he's trying to use his upper body to keep me from reaching his legs and getting entries into single leg X or X. So when he does that, however, he gives me upper body grips. Upper body grips become available. So when he frames on the head, I direct my attention up to that grip, and I get a 2-on-1 on my own. Then when I pull him back, I'm able to get my inside, so my lower body pummel. So I'm winning the upper body grips because I have grips on him and he doesn't have grips on me. And now I'm starting to win the lower body pummel by getting my feet to the inside position. I always want to have my feet on the inside position. When he lands, I transition my grip down to the lower body, which is what I originally wanted, and I pull myself into X guard. Okay, so we actually have a bit of a sloppy sequence here because I try something new. I'm really trying to enter into cross ashi with a reverse X guard. I think it's called reverse X guard. I'm not even sure, but I shouldn't have done that. I was making a mistake, and my mistake was switching to a scoop grip on this leg and then trying to switch. I'm pretty sure you need to have an overhooking grip as opposed to a scoop grip. So this is something I'm not really familiar with, that part of jiu-jitsu, and I tried it out, and then when I went back and watched the footage, I realized that I was making that mistake. So this is one of the benefits of recording yourself rolling. You'll see when you do stupid stuff like this. So we have a bit of a sloppy transition here. He ends up twisting toward me, and then we land in a 50-50 heel hook. Let's move on. So this time he tries to pick up both my feet and set me down to supine, which is something that I do teach people to do, because I feel like seated opponents can be a little bit more proactive and they can pummel their feet to the inside and off balance a little bit more. So I teach people to set them down to supine. I know some people disagree, some people agree. Black belts agree, black belts disagree. It is what it is. This is just the way that I teach. When we get here, he starts to lead with his hands. Can't really reach his foot. I probably can right now, actually, and I think I do. Yeah. Okay, so whenever I can reach their feet when I'm supine, I usually do. I like to get grips on the feet. It kind of limits his mobility. That's his main advantage of being standing right now. He can move a lot. He can move pretty fast. You know, speed is his friend. So I try and slow that down by getting grips on his feet. Okay, and whenever he gets that inside foot position, it becomes available. So I have to go to reverse De La Riva because he brings his foot cross hamstring. I get my reverse De La Riva and immediately I off balance. Okay, whenever I can get his hand posted on the mat, I can get him off balance and leaning forward. I can usually transition well into Kiss of the Dragon. So let's watch this one more time. He steps in, I get a grip on the foot, and then I off balance right away. So my right leg is going to extend, doing the off balance. Steps in, off balance, and then straight to Kiss of the Dragon. Now this is actually a sloppy sequence here too. I think because I trained in the gi when I first started learning jiu-jitsu, that I still get some positions confused. So ultimately, what I'm thinking essentially, what I'm used to, is gripping the belt. And I can't do that no gi. So I should have had grips on his ankles to set him forward and then come up in more of like a wrestling scramble, is what I feel like I should have done anyway. We have a bit of a strange position here where I end up getting to his back. We slap and bump and go again. And this time I work in for the inside position again. So you'll notice that my main game is going to the inside position. We can break this down a little bit. Here we go. So I scoot forward and I start to take the inside position. I feel that he's moving backwards, so ultimately what I want to do is a double ankle pick sweep. But Dawson is smart and he lifts his right foot, trying to pummel it to the inside because he knows he wants to win that inside position battle as well. I take note of the way that he's pummeling. He's lifting his foot off the ground to repummel. So I take note of that, and I'm going to use it against him here in a moment. But you'll notice that when he puts that foot down, I kept my heel close to my butt, so I was able to get shin to shin. Now, with shin to shin, I don't want to fall straight back like I am right now. I actually want to fall to the side, and I don't want to be wrist deep. I want to be elbow deep, ideally. But I had some pretty sloppy technique here, and I still managed to use it to transition into X guard. Okay. This time when we got to X guard, I went for the original high-low sweep where one foot is high and the other foot is low, like that. where I'm trying to set him back towards this wall over here. But Dawson posts his hands on the mat, which was smart. I was trying to force him backwards, so he went forward. However, when he did that, he left his right leg exposed. He gave me a little bit of heel exposure, so I just went over straight into single leg X and finished him with a heel hook. He's not very experienced with heel hooks, but he is decent enough that I feel like I'm not going to injure him, and he's not going to spaz out and roll the wrong way. So this time, when I get that inside foot position, I'm aware that he likes to pummel. So I took that note from a couple seconds ago, and when I got the inside foot position, I waited for him to lift his leg. When he did, I pulled it straight back. See, when his leg isn't on the ground, it's essentially weightless. So that means I can control it and manipulate it and use it for off balance. He lifted the foot, I pulled it straight back into an Ashigurami, and I swept as soon as I could while he was still off balanced. Slap and bump. Frames on my face, I try and catch the grip, doesn't happen. And I get a double ankle pick sweep. So why is this possible? This essentially is possible because of his stance. So whenever they're in a square stance like this, you can get both of your feet behind them and post on their hips to send them back. It's not always going to be that simple, but ideally you always want to be passing in a staggered stance instead of a square stance, because it gives the seated guard player way too much ability to off balance. Another thing I do is I look at the mat. So if I don't, he can collar tie on me and kind of give me problems sweeping him. So I look down on the mat, so that way he really has nothing to grab onto. He can't grab onto my head. Slap and bump. This time I get a more successful shin to shin. And I attempt the same sweep, except he starts to run away. So I grab the ankle and I pull him back into single leg X. This was actually a pretty nice exchange. I'm framing. I'm going shin to shin. I try double ankle pick. Ends up running away. Grab the ankle, pull him back, and sweep. That actually takes a while to get good at. It takes a while to grab people's ankles and stand up on singles when they're running away. A lot of people forget that they can do stuff like that, and I think the real reason why I'm able to do it on Dawson is because the stance that he's standing in, the posture that he's standing in, he's giving up his lower body way too easy. So he's not letting me get grips on his upper body, but he's letting me get grips on his lower body. So you have to play a heavy medium game between the two. Essentially, I come up and do a little bit of wrestling. I shuck his legs because I'm a terrible person. And we have a couple more exchanges here. I go for the same thing I did before. I'm trying to get grips. I'm trying to pummel inside. And I just use its momentum of moving backwards to come up in a wrestling exchange. Is there anything else that happens? We end up with a Sumigaeshi type thing at the end. So ultimately, yeah, that is my my game from seated guard. I could have broken it down much more, but I'd like to keep things relatively short. I mean, this is 8 minutes, so it's not that short. But if you have any questions about any of the things I did or the things that he did, you can let me know, and I'll try my best to get back to you. Have a great day. Thanks.